Hey yo, what's going on guys? It's your boy Scatino, aka Scat, and today I'm going to be talking about the Grand Theft Auto Online multiplayer trailer, giving my thoughts, reactions, review, whatever it is you want to call it. So first of all, I do apologise, it took me a couple of days to actually get this video up. I think that video went live on Thursday, I think it was, and I was mad busy at work and everything, been tired, so you know, doing it first thing Saturday morning when I wake up, which is why I look like a tramp. Shave! Anyway, so, first of all, let's talk about it. Yeah, it looks absolutely dope. It does. It looks dope as hell. But, in fact, before we go into any buts, let's just talk about the trailer a bit. Let's talk about why it looks dope as hell. Okay, first of all, it's called Grand Theft Auto Online. It's not called Grand Theft Auto 5 multiplayer, it's called Grand Theft Auto Online. But we'll come back into that as well. But I think this multiplayer has got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential to be amazing, but then again, it's got a lot of potential to be a load of shit. Really, I mean, I think this multiplayer could go either way, but you could say that about any sort of multiplayer. But I think if you're looking at a game like maybe Call of Duty or Battlefield, you pretty much expect to get a pretty great online experience. You know, you pretty much know what you're getting. You pretty much know it's going to be a lot of fun for the amount of hours that you probably put into it. You pretty much know that. But I think this multiplayer, it's going to go either way. People are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And I think, for me personally, there's one aspect of this multiplayer that's either going to make it succeed or it's going to make it fail, for me personally. But then again, just the sheer amount of things you can do. I mean, having all the players in the world, you know, I think it's 16 players that you can have like in the world at any one time. You know, you can go about the world on your own, you know, explore the whole of Los Santos on your own if that's what you choose, explore it with a friend. You know, you can go and play tennis with a friend, and you play like a full game of tennis with your friend, you know. And then like when it's shown it in the trailer, when like they're on the dirt bikes and everything, and they jump off the cliff, and then it's like base jumping, and they're in wingsuits, and they've got parachutes and all this shit. It was fucking crazy as hell. It's like, whoa, you know. It's like, that's the kind of thing I want. You know, I think there's nothing better than in like racing games or anything like that, where you're up on high mountains and you can just like jump off them and like fall to the ground, like in Just Cause 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of the things that they're showing off in this multiplayer trailer, they've definitely took a lot of inspiration from Just Cause 2. That ain't no bullshit. I mean, you go back and play Just Cause 2, which I highly recommend, by the way, because it's a fantastic game, one of the best open world games ever. Go back and play that, and you'll see the amount of inspiration that GTA 5 have got from that, from base jumping and parachuting and all the rest of it. It is crazy. But it looks phenomenal. It looks so much fun. Obviously, there's a lot of customization. You can fully customize your character to the way you want him to look, or how you want her to look. You know, from hairstyle to colour of the skin, obviously, clothes, anything. Obviously, as you play the multiplayer, you earn money, you earn like XP, I guess, or you earn like reputation and whatnot. All that'll go to probably unlocking new ways to actually customise your character. You can actually buy your own apartment, and you can actually customise your apartment. I mean, I think that's going to be one of the dope things. I think for me is if you can buy an apartment and you can sit there looking out the window. I mean, what you saw in that in the first gameplay trailer I mentioned, you know, that come out a few weeks back, when it just shown that little snippet in the multiplayer, I think that's just going to be so dope, where, you know, you could be on your own in your apartment and be looking out of your big window across the Los Santos skyline or whatnot, and you can just see other players just like battling it out, you know, doing street races, or you'll see like, you know, jets flying past your window with like the name above it to see who it is. I think that's going to be crazy, that you can just be sat there chilling, just doing whatever you want, customising your apartment, but yet the game is still going. You know, the multiplayer is still going. You can look outside the window and just watch people, you know, have fun and be, you know, doing all this crazy ass shit and explosions going off everywhere. It looks dope as hell, but that's what I'm talking about. It's got that potential to be that dope. It really, really does. Obviously, there's also like a creation mode as well, where obviously you can create your own type of like races, like car races, bike races. You can create your own like deathmatch modes and things like that, little maps and things that you're able to do. So it's good that it's also got that user created content that other players can use and probably download other players like sort of maps and shit that they also create. You know, so it's a lot of potential there. But I think, just for me personally, this multiplayer, no matter how big it is, no matter how many things you can actually do in it, I think this multiplayer is gonna live or die on the way it controls. Really, that's just the short and skinny of it. That's me being real to the core. It's gonna live or die on the way the game controls. You know, let's be real. Grand Theft Auto 4, it control like shit. It really control like shit. And if anyone out there says it was a perfect controlling game, you're absolutely bullshitting me, because it felt too clunky. The movement of the characters was too heavy. The way the vehicles handled was far too awful. Where it was like Rockstar were trying to make the vehicles handle too realistically. That took a lot of the fun of high-speed chases and everything like that. I think as each Rockstar game throughout this generation has been made, it's like with each game that's come out, I think the controls have got progressively better. I think Red Dead Redemption control better to GTA 4, and I think Max Payne 3 control better to Red Dead Redemption, although even Max Payne 3 was still really clunky in places, you know, and they didn't really work like you needed them to work. So I just hope, and they did mention this on that gameplay trailer a month back. They literally address that issue inside that trailer, like, you know, the new controls and everything, how everything controls, and it even shown the way the vehicles handled. It was more of an arcadey way. It kind of looked like it handled in a way you'd expect Need for Speed to handle, which is absolutely fine by me, because that game controls great. So if they can go down that route, they can sort that out, I think, you know, then they're on to a winner. I also hope, I think aim assist and, you know, all that is at a bare minimum. You know, no lock-on system. I really don't want a lock-on system, because I think a lock-on system in a multiplayer game, that takes away a lot of the fun. You're watching that multiplayer trailer, it kind of looked like you're able to quickly snap to your enemy, and that takes away a lot of the fun, because, you know, there's no challenge in that. You know, there's no skill, there's no effort, because if you snap onto the other player first, then you've won. That's basically it. Or if they snap onto you first, they've won. You know, there's no skill or effort to try and keep, like, you know, the cursor on target or anything like that. As long as you snap onto them first and you press that fire button, you've won basically. So I hope there's no sort of aim assist. I hope there's no sort of lock-on system in the multiplayer. But we'll see. I mean, I weren't getting that impression from that trailer, so because it just looked kind of like a lot of it was aim assisted. And if that's true, if there is an aim assist, then that just, you know, shows me that maybe the controls aren't really that up to snuff. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. I mean, but yeah, like I say, I think this multiplayer is really going to live or die on whether or not the game controls well. Which is why I think the game actually, the multiplayer dropping in October instead of at release is probably a good thing, because at least you know, we get to fully try out the GTA 5, the single player campaign, and beat it and get you know, and acclimate ourselves to the controls before that multiplayer drops. You know, so I mean the way the game controls in single player, that's probably the way it's going to control in multiplayer too. So you pretty much know what kind of experience you're going to get when that multiplayer does drop. But that's it from, you know, just that point of view. I hope it's going to be great. I mean, I'm hyped for the game. I'm definitely hyped for the game. But yeah, I don't want to get myself overhyped where I set myself up for a big disappointment. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the single player game is going to be great, whether or not, you know, it controls as well as I hope it's going to. But I think, you know, the verdict is still out on the multiplayer. It's definitely got a lot of potential to be amazing, but then again, you know, there's a lot of things there that, you know, could set it up to be a fail, but we'll see. I think what we need to talk about as well is the fact that, you know, it is called GTA Online and not GTA 5 multiplayer, if you know what I mean. I don't really know why they're going that route. I think, you know, gathering from that trailer, they're kind of setting it up to be this like big type of MMO thing, you know, this living, breathing, always ongoing multiplayer world and all this shit. And I just think if they don't release this game on next-gen consoles, I think they're doing themselves and the fans a big disservice. I think the fact that they're calling it GTA Online gives us hope that at least the online portion could come to next-gen consoles as sort of a downloadable thing, not necessarily a full release. I mean, I can understand like the time and the effort it could take for them to bring the whole single player as well as the multiplayer over to next-gen consoles, you know, but I think bringing just the multiplayer part of it, you know, I think they could achieve that, and why not? I think, you know, multiplayer on current gen is limited to 16 players. If they can get that going on next gen with 64 players, son, running around in that world, I think that is going to be crazy. You know, with the added horsepower of the consoles, you know, slightly better graphics, this, that, and the other, you know, better effects and all that stuff. You know, I think it'd be crazy as hell. I really, really do. And I hope that's what they're going to do. Obviously, they're keeping, you know, tight lips on the fact about any sort of next-gen announcement. You know, they've said, no, it's PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. But, you know, I think there's just something going on there. I mean, they're releasing this game right at the end of this console generation. Like, right at the end. I mean, the multiplayer drops on the 1st of October. Rumours are going around the PS4 is dropping at the end of October. So we're right at the end, right at the beginning of a new console generation. And I think if they're trying to set this multiplayer up, you know, to constantly be adding content to it, you know, over, you know, significant periods of time, then why not release it on next gen? A lot of people are going to be making that transition from current gen to next gen over this past year. I mean, you can see it in the amount of pre-orders. Each console has got the PS4, the Xbox One. You can see how many pre-orders it has got up to now. You know, why not make that transition? You know, even just releasing the online multiplayer as a downloadable title. You know, just release the multiplayer. You know, release the multiplayer as a downloadable title. So, because people may not necessarily want to run through the whole campaign again, just because it's out on a next generation console, but they may want to continue that multiplayer experience. A lot of people may be trading in their 360 and their PS3 in order to get a next generation console. And what better way, you know, to facilitate that for us consumers to at least release it online multiplayer as a downloadable title where we can transfer all our stats from current gen to next gen, just like they're doing with Call of Duty and Battlefield. If you pick the game up on current gen and then on next gen, it all transfers over. They could do that. Rockstar could do that. They've got the money, they've got the manpower to do that. You know, and I think it'd be silly for them not to. I think, you know, who wants to wait another 3 or 4 years? Because I can't see the first game they make on next generation consoles to be another Grand Theft Auto. It may be Red Dead Redemption 2. It may be Max Payne 4. Who knows? You know, but I can't see it being another Grand Theft Auto. And who wants to wait another 3, 4, maybe 5 years into the next gen cycle for another Grand Theft Auto game? I certainly won't. I certainly don't want to wait that long. You know, but at least if we have the multiplayer portion of it, you know, that'll just, you know, keep us going. As long as that multiplayer is as dope as it looks, that'll keep us going until, you know, the next iteration of Grand Theft Auto, you know, Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out on next gen. But that's just the way that's just what I'm thinking. That's just wishful thinking by me. But, you know, we'll see how it all plans out. You know, we've got Gamescom coming up next week. Who knows? Maybe something happens there. You know, they might just say, oh yeah, and guess what? Grand Theft Auto Online will be available at launch of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One as a downloadable title. Transfer all your stats over, this, that and the other. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and my reactions on the trailer. Like I said, I think it looks great. A lot of potential to be amazing, a lot of potential to be a big fail, but we'll see. I'm picking the game up day one anyway, so, you know, they've got my money, so that's that. And just before I go, just let you know that my Dragon's Crown on PlayStation Vita finally arrived today, although I'm a bit pissed off because I pre-ordered it, and even though it's an import, they'd never sent me my art book. The art book that comes with every pre-order. So I've sent them an email to find out where my art book is because I'm not happy bunny right now. But I'm going to get into this on the Vita. I'm going to start a game as the Sorceress. And I also need to get back into the PlayStation 3 version because I've not played it for about a week. And continue my Let's Play with the Fighter on PlayStation 3. So there we go. But buy this game because this game is dope as hell. I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks on the Vita because it looks amazing on PlayStation 3. So yeah, that's that. So hope you all enjoyed the video, guys. You know, make sure you hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts and feelings on GTA Online. So that's it from me. I'm your boy Scatino, and I'm out. Peace.